All right, buckle up for a deep dive. And this one is, well, it's pretty out there. We're diving into the world of Kansoku, trying to uh, figure out how to market this health practice. And get this, our main source, a book called, wait for it, Kidneys Determine Lifespan. Not exactly your marketing 101 textbook, right?
You're telling me. Definitely not where I'd usually look for marketing advice. But hey, that's kind of the point of these deep dives, right? Finding these like hidden gems, these unexpected insights in the, well, least expected places.
You got it. So about Kansoku, the book doesn't really come out and say exactly what it is, but it does keep coming back to this whole idea of kidneys. Like healthy kidneys are the key to a long life, especially how well they filter out excess phosphorus. What do you think? How does that connect to Kansoku?
It's interesting. The book seems to be hinting that Kansokuhu maybe somehow supports kidney function, specifically like how it manages phosphorus levels. It's maybe reading between the lines a bit, but if Kansokuhu helps your kidneys, helps you live longer, that's a pretty strong foundation for a marketing campaign, right?
Okay, I'm following you. But honestly, phosphorus, I don't know, it doesn't exactly sound like a catchy marketing slogan. Why should people even care about this stuff?
Oh, trust me, they should. This book, it makes phosphorus relevant. It compares it to, get this, construction cement. Good for your bones, sure, but if it gets outside of your bones, oh boy, that's when the trouble starts. And it gets kind of, well, scary.
Okay, now you've got my attention. What happens when this cement goes rogue?
Imagine a garden hose, right? Just left out in the sun, baking. What happens? It gets all stiff, brittle, cracks, right? That's what the book says excess phosphorus can do to your arteries, especially the stuff called calciprotein particles, CTPs. Hardening of the arteries, not a pretty picture.
Whoa, yeah, that's a vivid image. So if Kansaku helps, if it keeps the phosphorus in check, those CPPs can't do their damage, right? Is that our angle?
It's a start, for sure. Tapping into that, like fear we all have, getting old, getting sick, that's powerful stuff. But to be ethical about it, we need more than just fear. We need credibility. And the book, it kind of points us in that direction. There's some, scientific terms in there, FGF23, the Clotho gene, all about regulating phosphorus.
So wait, hit him with the fear and then like a bunch of science jargon. Will people actually buy that?
Not jargon, exactly. More like highlighting the science. Think of it this way. FGF23, that's like a little alarm bell in your body, goes off when your phosphorus is too high. And the Clotho gene, that's like the control panel, picks up the signal, tells your kidneys to, filter out the excess. So we're not just saying phosphorus is bad, we're explaining the why. Adds some, legitimacy. Might attract a smarter crowd, so to speak.
I'm seeing the pieces come together here. We got the fear, the science, but who are we talking to? Who's going to actually listen to this message? Who, like, our target audience?
Well, based on what the book's saying, I think we've got two groups. First, anyone already dealing with kidney issues, right? They get it. They know how important kidney health is. They'll be looking for anything that helps.
That makes sense.
Who else? Think about the anti-aging crowd. People obsessed with longevity, living forever, all that. The book keeps saying how much phosphorus levels affect your lifespan, right? So manage your phosphorus, slow down aging, that message.
Yeah.
That's going to hit home with those folks.
So we've got people worried about their kidneys and people who want to live forever. Two very different motivations, but both tie back to phosphorus.
Exactly. And what's interesting is the book isn't just about treatment. It's about prevention. That's got to be part of our Kansoku strategy, too.
You mean like saying Kansoku helps you keep your kidneys healthy, slows down aging, all before things go bad?
Yeah. There's this line in the book, it talks about hitting a point of no return, like with dialysis, that kind of language that gets people thinking, gets them to take action, before it's too late.
Okay, so we've got fear, science, prevention. We're building a pretty compelling case here for Kansoku. But how do we actually market this stuff? How do we get people like excited about phosphorus?
Well, the book actually gives us some good imagery. Remember the garden hose thing? Hardened arteries? That's visual. That's memorable. People will remember that.
I like it. Make it visual. What if we had charts, comparing phosphorus levels in different animals like the book mentions, shows how it like directly affects lifespan.
Exactly. And we need stories, real people talking about how Kansoku has helped them, that personal connection, that's powerful.
Right. People connect with stories.
Right.
And we can use visuals too, right? Before and after photos or graphics that show the improvements. We're talking a full sensory experience.
Exactly. We want people to see it, hear it, feel it, the impact of Kansoku. And, the book even suggests that this could go beyond just individual health. This could affect like public health policy. Imagine if Kansoku was as widely accepted as, say, cholesterol management.
That's a big goal, to say the least. All right, so we got some interesting angles here for marketing Kansoku, all thanks to a book about, well, kidneys. Who knew?
It's amazing what you find when you dig a little deeper. And the best part, we're just getting started. Imagine if there's like scientific proof that Kansoku really does impact phosphorus levels. That changes everything. Could get doctors on board, maybe even lead to public health initiatives focused on phosphorus.
Now that would be something. But before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's dive into the science itself, the nitty-gritty of phosphorus and aging. That's where the real understanding lies.
Absolutely. Let's break it down, see what other marketing gold we can unearth. Okay,
Yeah.
so phosphorus. Good for the bones, we know that. But the book, it really paints this like scary picture of what happens when it gets out of control.
Yeah, kind of a double-edged sword, right?
Right.
Essential but dangerous. So let's break it down. What happens when this construction cement, as the book calls it, what happens when it escapes from our bones?
That's when things get, well, tricky. One thing the book really emphasizes is this thing called vascular calcification. Basically, your arteries, they harden because of this buildup of calcium phosphate crystals. It's like the phosphorus is turning your blood vessels to, concrete.
Wait, so it's not just the CPPs? There's another way phosphorus can cause problems?
Yeah. It's important to separate those two. CPPs, they're like little clumps of cement just floating around in your blood. Vascular calcification, that's the cement like actually hardening the walls of your arteries, makes them less flexible, more likely to, get blocked.
Okay, so both bad news for your heart and your circulatory system. But the book also mentions that high phosphorus can, damage cells directly, right?
Mhm.
How does that work?
This is where it gets a little complicated. But the book gives us some clues. Basically, when there's too much phosphorus, it can mess with essential cellular processes, leads to cell damage, even cell death. It's like the phosphorus is disrupting the machinery inside the cell.
Cell damage. Doesn't that usually cause, inflammation in the body?
Bingo. And that's another big point the book makes. It talks about high phosphorus contributing to this non-infectious chronic inflammation. So low-grade inflammation, but it's there all the time, even without an infection.
Right. I've heard chronic inflammation is linked to, a ton of health problems, heart disease, cancer, everything. Is this phosphorus-related inflammation similar?
That's what the book suggests. It's like this chronic inflammation
Yeah.
fueled by high phosphorus. It could be a major contributor to aging and all those age-related diseases. It's like a slow burn wearing you down over time.
So we're seeing a pattern here. CPPs, vascular calcification, chronic inflammation, high phosphorus. It's disrupting the body's balance in some, pretty serious ways. But the book did mention that our bodies have, defenses against this, right? Natural defenses.
Well, absolutely. And this is where it gets really interesting. Remember FGF23 and the Clotho gene?
Vaguely. Remind me how those fit into the whole phosphorus story.
Think of FGF23 like a messenger shouting, "Too much phosphorus, get rid of it." And the Clotho gene, that's the receiver, picks up the message, tells your kidneys to filter out the excess.
So it's like a built-in safety mechanism, keeping the phosphorus from, going crazy.
Exactly. It's a complex system trying to maintain balance. But here's the catch, and the book makes this very clear. As we age, our kidneys, they just get less efficient at filtering phosphorus, even with FGF23 and Clotho doing their thing. It's like a filter getting clogged over time.
So even with these defenses, we're still, more vulnerable to high phosphorus as we get older. That's kind of scary.
It's true. The book, it really suggests that this age-related decline in kidney function is a big reason why phosphorus becomes such a problem later in life. It's like this silent threat. People aren't even aware of it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But if our kidneys aren't filtering as well, wouldn't our FGF23 levels be, constantly high? Like that alarm bell is just ringing and ringing?
You're picking up on this quickly. Yeah, high FGF23, that's actually a big red flag. Means your kidneys are struggling. You're at higher risk for, health problems. The book even mentions a specific threshold for FGF23, 53 pGML.
53 pGML. What's the significance of that number?
Studies have shown that if your FGF23 is above that number, you're much more likely to develop serious health problems within 5 years, kidney failure even. It's a warning sign, something to pay attention to.
Wow. Okay. So could monitoring FGF23 levels be a way to, identify people at risk and intervene early?
Definitely. Early intervention is key. And the book, it really stresses this. The sooner you address high phosphorus, the better your chances of slowing down kidney decline and preventing those long-term consequences.
This brings us back to Kansokuhu. If you can help keep phosphorus levels healthy, especially as we get older, that's a powerful message. Like, protect your kidneys, protect your future, you know?
I like that. It's about giving people control, empowering them to take charge of their health. But here's the challenge, and the book kind of hints at this. Awareness about high phosphorus, it's still pretty low, even among doctors.
That's a missed opportunity, but also a chance for Kansokuhu to stand out. If it's seen as a leader in this whole phosphorus management thing, that's huge.
Absolutely. It's like being at the forefront of a new health movement. And the book, it gives us even more ideas for how to do that effectively. Remember, non-infectious chronic inflammation, the thing we talked about, triggered by high phosphorus.
Yeah. So if Kansokuhu can reduce that inflammation by, regulating phosphorus, that's another big selling point, especially with all these chronic diseases on the rise, heart disease, Alzheimer's, all that.
Exactly. And the book even suggests that this inflammation might be a factor in like those everyday aches and pains we just think are part of getting older, fatigue, brain fog, wrinkles, all that.
Wait, are you saying that managing phosphorus can actually help with those things? Like actually make you feel younger?
It's implied. The book doesn't make any direct claims, but it definitely hints that controlling phosphorus might have benefits beyond just your kidneys.
This is amazing. We've found so many potential marketing angles just by digging into phosphorus and aging.
I know, right? But there's one more piece we need to talk about. How to actually reduce phosphorus intake. Because, knowing the dangers is only helpful if you know how to avoid them.
True. We need to get practical. So let's talk diet. Because let's be honest, knowing what foods to avoid, that's like half the battle.
Absolutely. And the book, while it's not a diet book, it does give us some hints about which foods are, phosphorus bombshells.
Okay, I'm all ears. Spill the beans. Which foods are secretly sabotaging our kidneys?
Well, it's not a full list, but the book points out that phosphorus often goes hand in hand with protein. So high protein usually means high phosphorus.
Makes sense. Meat, poultry, fish, eggs, dairy. All those protein-rich foods.
Yeah. But here's the thing, and this is important. How our bodies absorb phosphorus, it depends on the food.
Oh, interesting. So some protein sources are like worse than others when it comes to phosphorus.
That seems to be the case. And processed foods, those are particularly bad. The book talks about all these phosphorus-laden additives in processed meats, instant noodles, all that. Convenient, yeah, but loaded with phosphorus.
A classic trade-off. Convenience versus health. So do we have to completely avoid those foods?
Not necessarily. The book is more about being mindful, choosing fresh whole foods whenever possible and just being aware of those hidden phosphorus sources. It's about balance.
So not deprivation, just smarter choices. If you know you're going to have a high phosphorus meal, you balance it out with lower phosphorus choices throughout the day.
Exactly. It's about making it sustainable, not feeling restricted. And this is where Kansokuhu could really shine. If it can help regulate those levels, even when you indulge sometimes, that's a huge selling point.
It's like having that extra layer of protection. You can enjoy your favorite foods without, worrying as much about your kidneys.
And think about the long-term benefits. If Kansoku really can contribute to healthy aging by keeping phosphorus in check, that's a game changer.
Okay, we've covered a lot today. Kidneys, phosphorus, marketing, even diet. What are your main takeaways from all this?
For me, it's the realization that phosphorus, this mineral that we don't really think about much, it plays a much bigger role in our health and how we age than we realize. And understanding that could be the key to a whole new approach to preventative healthcare.
I totally agree. It's like we've uncovered this hidden language our bodies are speaking, a language of phosphorus whispers and kidney rhythms.
I love that. And who knows, maybe someday, thanks to things like Kansokuhu and more awareness about phosphorus, maybe kidney health will be as celebrated as heart health is today.
That's a future I can get behind. All right, to all our deep divers out there, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and keep diving deep into the mysteries of your own health.
And remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about your body, the better choices you can make.
Until next time, happy diving. All right, let's talk food. Lay it on me. Which foods are like the phosphorus bombshells? What do I need to cut out of my diet?
Well, the book doesn't give us like a complete list or anything, but it does point out a pretty big connection between phosphorus and protein. Basically high protein foods. They usually mean high phosphorus too.
Okay, that makes sense. So meat, poultry, fish, eggs, dairy, all that stuff.
Right, but here's where it gets a little more complicated. The book says how much phosphorus our bodies actually absorb. It can change depending on the food.
Really? So some protein sources are, like, worse than others? Tell me more.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. And processed foods are definitely the biggest culprits. The book talks about all these phosphorus-laden additives and processed meats, instant noodles, all those quick and easy meals. They might be convenient, but they're packed with phosphorus.
Convenience always comes at a price. Right. So what can we do? Do we have to completely give up all these foods?
I don't think the book is saying we have to go that far. It's more about, being aware, choosing fresh, whole foods whenever possible, and just knowing where those hidden phosphorus sources are.
Right. So it's about balance, not depriving yourself, just making smarter choices. Like if you know you're going to have a high phosphorus meal, maybe balance it out with lower phosphorus options the rest of the day.
Exactly. It's got to be sustainable, know. No one wants to feel like they're on a super restrictive diet. And that's where Kansokuhu could really come in. If it can help, keep those phosphorus levels in check. Even when we indulge a little, that's a big selling point.
It's like having a safety net, right? You can still enjoy your favorite foods, but you're not like stressing about your kidneys as much.
Right. And think long term, if Kansokuhu really can help us age healthier, keep that phosphorus under control, that's a game changer.
It really could be. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. Kidneys, phosphorus, marketing, diet, the whole shebang. What are your biggest takeaways from all of this?
I think the biggest thing for me is like this new awareness of phosphorus, this mineral we never really think about, but it's so important for our health and how we age. And realizing that could change the way we approach, preventative health care.
Absolutely. It's like we've learned this secret language our bodies are speaking.
Yeah.
The language of phosphorus and kidneys.
I like that, the language of phosphorus. And who knows, maybe someday, thanks to things like Kansoku and just more awareness in general, maybe kidney health will be as talked about and celebrated as heart health is today.
I hope so. That would be amazing. All right, deep divers, that's a wrap for today. But keep those questions coming. Keep exploring. Keep diving deep into the mysteries of your own health.
And remember, knowledge is power. The more you know, the better choices you can make.
Until next time, happy diving.